I'm glad you brought that up because we want to get into your projects too, man. You know, doing it in the park and, you know, with Bobbito.
Yep.
How did that even come about? And well, just tell us about it.
Well, you know what? I mean, just to get a project some praise, there's never been another project that's been put out that talks about the culture of New York basketball like that, in that way. So raw and abstract. I'm talking about y'all at the courts, and you're educating people on how many courts and tournaments it is throughout the summer. Like, that's fucking nuts.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
It's a glitch in the matrix, you know, these kind of films, you know, because, you know, like it's not a film you'd see on Netflix right now, because most documentaries are about like a fallen star, you know, like a champion that was supposed to do it and didn't do, or somebody that has incredible successes, you know, and it's such a cultural film that even pitching it to a distributor right now is a nightmare, because they can't even think there would be a community to support a film like that.
Right.
But to circle back to Bobbito and I, so from 2004 to 2009, and 2010, I was contributing to Bounce magazine, and Bobbito and I would connect in New York or sometimes in Paris, because he was coming to Paris to DJ. And when he would come to Paris, the guy would be asking me, "Hey, let's play basketball. Do you have a gym for me?" And basically, I would take like jet-lagged Bobbito to a run and would go play it with my friends, you know. And we, you know, like we kept the friendship alive through the game, obviously, you know. And 2010, he sees Heart and Soul of New York City, send me an email to write on a documentary about the game of 21. Which I discovered in New York City in 2004 for the first time. Like, I didn't grow up playing 21. I didn't grow up playing Booties Up, 5-2. All these specialty games you guys have in the US, we don't have them in Europe because we don't know about them. Anyway, Bob asked me this, and I tell him that maybe we should do something a little bit more global about New York City, about the tournaments, about pick-up basketball, about everything. And we decided to narrow it down to pick-up basketball, because the tournament is a different thing. It's like something a little bit more political and different stakes, and maybe a little less organic than pick-up basketball. So he invited me the next summer to spend 2 months with him and start filming. We didn't write any treatment, any synopsis, nothing. Bobbito wrote a few questions. We discussed about what we wanted to do, but we discussed about where to go. But basically, it was pretty random because Bobbito had a few questions on a Post-it. I bought a bicycle. We bought some audio equipment, like the basic needs. Everything in backpacks, like Bobbito had the basketball and the boom pole across his backpack, and I had my camera equipment on my backpack, and we would take the bikes out and we would exit Bobbito's apartment and say, okay, we go left, we go right, where do we go? And every day was more or less the same, and we basically, over the course of the first summer, we might have visited 130 courts throughout New York City. Interviewed 60 people. So we interviewed the New York City legends like Pee Wee, Fly Williams, Butch Purcell, you know, all the old cats, you know, who basically paved the way for the young ballers now. And we bumped into Kenny Smith, we bumped into Kenny Anderson, Dr. J. I mean, the thing with New York City, especially in the summer, you can meet so many people. But what we were interested in is giving the voice to the average baller, like the people who are basically playing in all these parks, you know, men and women who dedicate their life to pick up basketball, who are not expecting to become NBA superstars, and that's the beauty of basketball and pick up basketball, is that you can play it until you're 80 years old or even older if you want.
That's what I loved about it. You know what? It's so crazy that, because, I mean, Will, you know this, all the best players play on the playground because they felt like coaches would come there and watch you play, and you fuck around and impress a coach, and you could go from the playground to right to college. Like, you ain't have to go play. You ain't have to go play in no, 5-star basketball camp and none of that. Like, this the hottest playground up here, the coldest players up here. So I'm going up here, and the college coaches knew that now. And,
totally.
And so that's not the case anymore. But it's just fascinating to how, there's still that certain areas, regions in the world still have that basketball vibe, that basketball culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Of outdoor, of, oh man, you pick up your 5, I got my 5, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And it was about building your name. You know what I'm saying? On the playground. It's like you said, you could play the 40, 50. You know what I'm saying? You still got a name out here because you didn't put in work out here and people have saw it.
Totally. And like in a lot of places in Europe, it's still true. Like, guys play outdoors, but right now, what I witness the most is it's in Africa. Like, guys play outdoors because they don't have any other options. Like, they don't have a gym, they don't have access to a gym.
Yep.
Sometimes there are no gyms, and they are like working out. They don't complain about the concrete, and basically they are exactly what the people in our countries were 20 or 30 years ago. Like, they are competing outdoors in the hope to get like scouted. And it works. It works. A lot of NBA scouts in Africa like now.
You do see it. I think that's what always made New York City basketball like. We've been asking the question, what makes New York City basketball different than other cities in the United States? I think it's always been because of that culture of street ball and the playground ball, where the top tier athletes still played every summer. I recognize in a lot of cities across the United States in particular, once a guy make it, you're probably not going to see him back on the playground court. I mean, that's just the reality. But in New York, it's not not uncommon to see, guy just won a slam dunk contest, playing in the playground once the season is over,
That's so true. And it's crazy because, like in France, we had like the Rodriguez brothers. We had the two brothers, the Greer brothers, Ricardo Greer and Jeff Greer, like two guys from New York City, streetball legends over there. And basically they played in France for more than 10 years and were MVP almost every year and All-Star game, whatever. They won like the French championships for years, And what fascinates me with New York City ball players is that they play overseas during the season, and then they are like right away on the asphalt of New York City playing like 2 or 3 tournaments a day for the full summer. And these guys never rest.
Yeah.
They never rest and playing on the asphalt, not even complaining. So, I think there are a lot of NBA players who should get inspired by that because
I'm glad that when I saw that, The Last Dance, and I know Michael Jordan, when he first, Will can attest to this, when Michael Jordan first got to Chicago, like he wanted to be out in the city. He wanted to go to where all the ball players played at. So the dude had a clause in his contract that said, I'm able to play summer ball wherever.
But I like the way they termed it. The clause was called For the Love of the Game.
For the love of the game.
Yeah.
For the love of the game.
Yeah.
Because I just want to hoop.
That's
I just
perfect.
want to hoop,
So it's interesting because when we were doing filming Doin Little Park, like summer 2010, it was the NBA lockout. And yes, this is the year when you have KD showing up to Rucker, scoring 66. And like the night after 66 at Rucker, he went to Pro City and scored like 54, and John Lucas III like scored 64. Wow. And I was like, yeah, and I filmed all that. I have videos of that. And and the thing is that's when Nike decided to do Basketball Never Stops campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And we were already shooting Doin Inter Park for almost a summer, and we say, hey man, we're ahead of our time, because like this is what Nike is trying to do now. So using playground basketball to do their campaigns.
Look, so don't tell me and Will the next thing is, and so that's what Nike hired me. Right?
No. So
Ken, let us ask you about, man, your next project, the Heart and Soul of New York City, man. Talk to us about that project.
The one before?
Yeah.
Heart and Soul was the video before, 2009. 2010.
Was that before? Yeah. Was that before?
Yeah, 2010, and then Doin Inter Park, we finished the film 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Doing it in the park is the one that just is the last one.
Yeah, so we are now celebrating the 10-year anniversary this year of Doing It in the Park. So hopefully we can do something this summer.
So let me ask you, did y'all get a distribution deal? How did y'all do that?
So Doing It in the Park, so we shot the first summer 2011, and then I went back we started editing that winter of 2010, and then we went back to New York City 2011 for a month and a half to shoot more stuff that we were missing, including the Rikers Island session where we went to the prison and play with the guys, play with the inmates. We filmed a few sequences on top of what we needed, and we finished the film 2012, did a year of festival.
Mm-hmm.
We won the audience award, the Urban World Film Festival in New York City. And we got a 2 years deal with Netflix for the US only. We got broadcast on PBS. Then we had a few airlines here and there, some national broadcasts in different countries around the world. But the biggest thing we had was Nike coming on board to support us as a marketing partner, and they paid us a world tour of 14 cities, 12 to 14 cities.
Wow.
To present the film, do Q&As, play with the local ball players, and do playground tours. So we did Chicago, we did Mexico City, we did Taipei, Beijing, Shanghai, Manila, Tokyo, Paris, Barcelona. It was amazing because you get to especially for me as a photographer, craving to go to some of these places. We got to go to present our film, be the stars of the show, play basketball with the local guys, meeting a lot of people, and basically it helped us, recoup our money, our investment in the film, but because this film has been self-funded.
Let me just translate that, Agee. What all Kevin really was saying is, they paid us a bunch of money to go around and hoop. That's what he basically was saying. He was like,
that's true.
And he showed his movie while he was out there. I mean,
hey. That's true. That's exactly what it was, and all that with Nike money.
Kev, you've had an amazing life, man. And I wanted to ask you this because two things. One, I literally think, and Agee, I want to get pick your brain on this too. Kev, I literally think you should have a vote who's the MVP of the NBA, simply because of this, man. Your experience and everything you've seen. You've been all over the world. I mean, literally all over the world, man. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the difference in the basketball cultures that you have seen?
Yeah, for sure. I think everywhere you go, it's different, I guess. Even in the US, there are so many differences. But I think I would say between continents, the differences are the most visible. When I'm in Europe, it's clearly a lot about team basketball, most of Europe. But now in Paris, for example, it's changing a lot because we are more and more athletic, and you mix that culture of team basketball. The game in France, at least, is shifting a little bit, and that's why you see a lot of new kids coming from France. Like super athletic guys, like Victor. Like Victor Wembanyama is the perfect illustration of European basketball right now, because he's coming from the African diaspora. But he was taught French basketball with the right fundamentals, exactly like Doncic got taught the fundamentals of the game, But he has something special. He has that length, and he has this like alien type body, like something that you don't see anywhere else. But so in Europe, we still have this culture of team basketball and tough basketball. When you go to Africa, it's a lot of athleticism. The fundamentals, it's a long process depending on each country. Some countries are really well equipped to teach the fundamentals of the game. And what I love about traveling is that you see the different body types, the different specificities of each country in terms of what kind of athletes it can produce.
Right.
When you are in Nigeria, I think Nigeria right now is the country that produces the most basketball players. I think there are a lot of them in high school, college in the US, a lot of them in the NBA right now. But I wouldn't be afraid if like 30 years or 40, 50 years from now, like Nigeria becomes one of the top nations in basketball because of the athletes they can produce. Yeah. It's a country of 220 million people.
Yeah, I would say the game is so global now. I mean, it has touched every part of the globe, and not only has it touched it, the people have actually embraced it, and it's become one of the leading sports, professionally, as these kids are in youth, because they got a whole Nike and all the NBA have built a whole youth grassroots thing. They got the Africa League now. I didn't know the Philippines and Asia was that big on basketball. Like they fallen. They like, no, I don't want to play soccer today.
So the Philippines is like 110 million people, all basketball. The game is a religion in the Philippines, and when you go there, it's just like you think you live in a country where basketball is number one or everybody loves basketball. No, like go to the Philippines, you'll see what it is. Like the real passion they have for basketball is insane.
Wow.
The thing too, they are like really resourceful because they know how to build hoops from nothing. Like,
damn,
like a milk crate for a Filipino is something fancy. No, but I mean, honestly, like they would take anything, like a bicycle rim and two pieces of wood, and boom, you have a hoop on a coconut tree, and they would play on barefoot, in the middle of traffic, and that's pure love. Like the purity of the love they have for the game over there is insane, and
wow.
As a photographer, obviously, it's insane for me to shoot this, because to document that. It's a country like I honestly like could live for like 10 years and shoot all the courts, but it's impossible. It's so many hoops everywhere.
I just gotta ask you this, Cav. We got to put you on the spot with one of these questions. Because you are a world traveler of the game. Does America still have the best basketball players?
That's a good question. I think in terms of athleticism, yes. In terms of basketball IQ, no.
Oh, wow. Who holds that spot?
I mean, guys from Eastern Europe.
Guys from Eastern Europe.
Yeah. No, it's tough to say because, right now you have two prime examples of that. You have Jokic and Doncic, like guys who basically don't care if there are like five guys defending against them, they'll score anyway. Like they'll play with you. Like you can be the most athletic defender. Like playing against Doncic. Doncic is going to murder you, doing like fundamentals and like doing stupid stuff just because his IQ is superior to everybody. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like LeBron has a great IQ too, but LeBron has just a massive body too. So Chris Paul has an amazing IQ, but I don't know. You have a lot of good players in the US. That's undeniable. But what's coming from overseas now is quite dangerous. Like even Embiid is super smart and the way he analyzes the game. Like I think that's what is shifting in modern day basketball is that the guys from outside of the US are well and better trained than what they used to be.
Man, you know who I just look at his game, Luka and Jokic. they not gonna wow you with their athleticism and nothing like that. But I'm talking about these Jokers look like he could walk into a move. Like I'm just gonna dribble, my back down. Oh, you gonna go for that? I'm just gonna pump fake you this way, come over here, reach over, just it's just real fundamental, real smooth.
Yeah. But I think what lacks right now in the US, it's maybe the winning culture, the will to win games and do it as a team. I think this is right now in the NBA. It's pretty hard to. I don't know.
Well, everybody's searching for that Golden State juice in a bottle. Golden State kicked all that off. Swinging the ball, playing together, they really really with the super team of how to play, make the whole team happy and get minutes and all that. People start trying to, mimic that, but they couldn't.
But what Golden State is doing now is basically a product of the Popovich school,
Yeah.
Like the Spurs paved the way for that, and the Pistons, in the 2004 Pistons, and now you have Golden State. The Raptors are trying to do the same thing too, playing team basketball, and the Nuggets, and like all these teams, I think, who understood the value of playing hard-nosed defense, playing team basketball, like it's paying for them.
Yeah, playing 10 guys. That's going to bode well for you going into the playoffs because you got your 5 on the court and you have a bench that I can plug one of these dudes in from the bench and we ain't going to lose no muster.
Yeah, totally. And maybe one thing I would say with difference in Europe is that we don't really celebrate guys who score like 40 points a game.
Yeah.
Like you see what I mean? Is the goal like a Doncic or a Jokic in Europe, like they wouldn't care about scoring 40. Like they would care about winning the game. And if they score like 15 points, it's okay. But the culture of highlight and the culture of how many points you dropped this weekend, like the thing is that it's what's killing American basketball at some point. The kids only care about scoring a lot of points, but they lose the focus of it's a team sport, and the more you'll feed your teammate, the better they'll become, and you can win as a team.
It's interesting you say that. I remember when I was working out with Jordan and we would play these games, and as soon as the day was over, only thing Jordan would ask was, "But how many games did you win? How many games?" Like he wasn't even concerned about it. He was like, "Yeah." But, he said, "Yeah, but we beat y'all 6 out of 7 times." Like, he's like, "How many games did you win?" Like, you don't see that because I think in America, basketball now, the hard work is to make it. And once you make it there, the branding becomes the work at that point. Now it's selling my shoe. It's selling my clothing line. It's selling my... nothing against those guys from doing it. I think it's great entrepreneurship and all those other things. But when you can sell the fact that your brow goes across your face, like, in America, you can market anything, man.
That's true.
But that's what American basketball, in a sense, is becoming now. And I just want to get your take on this. with that being said, with the NIL deals, now it's dipping into the high school levels.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that will continue to water down the game of basketball, or will it improve it in some way?
So the thing, so even your own story, guys, like you grew up in a system where education is a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like you grew up in a system where, okay, you're not good enough on a basketball court. We can't keep you at school because we can't give you a free scholarship. Like we grew up in a system where school is free, like, and in the sport, like basketball is something that you do outside of school. So it's a different culture, in that sense, is that you play amateur sports until you're like 12 or 14. Then you integrate like a bigger club which has a training center for the best prospects. But still, it is something you don't stop studying, and you don't have to pay for school either. It's like you do sport and school are two separate things. So like even watching, I rewatched Hoop Dreams recently, and I was like doing the parallel with Europe, and it's crazy the way in the US, like, yeah, education shouldn't be something that you have to pay for, but regarding the system in the US, I don't know enough about it, I guess. But I think from what I understand from outside, I'm not sure the AAU is something that is something. I'm not sure it has a lot of benefits. I don't know. I don't know enough of the AAU, but
I think it has some good. I think it has some good things and some bad things with it. But the most good thing is that you have a lot of kids playing basketball. If they playing basketball, they not somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And especially if they love it, if they like it with their friends.
That's true.
And some of them don't get to travel. If they mama say, "Hey, if you give me all A's this school year, I'll pay the $1,000 for you to travel with
true,
that."
that's true.
That'll be great for that kid who got bad friends that's hanging out. I think it's great in that aspect.
Yeah, true.
But you know what they call AAU, right? They call it the necessary evil.
Ah.
Well, because the thing is, on one level, kids got to play, because if they don't play, they don't get the exposure. Totally. And if you don't get the exposure, then you can't get to whatever next level that is, whether it's Division 1, 2, 3, NIA, whatever it may be. So but what comes along with that, I like to put it this way. Like, to me, there's two sides of life. The one side is you get the promotion. Everything is great. Everything that comes with it. You get the scholarship, you can get the job, whatever it is. But then it's the other side of the promotion that you got to deal with, screaming parents in the stands. You got to deal with, players on the team getting jealous of each other because they feel like there's only one scholarship available in the whole world. It's like all that goes into this one melting pot, man. It's absolutely crazy. But I agree with you, Agee, and I agree with you, Kel. They got to do it, because if they don't do it, like you say, Agee, they could be doing something else, and we don't want them doing anything else. And it's like you saying, Kel, they do it, but are they getting what they need out of it?
No, for sure. And the thing too is that from our perspective in Europe is that since everything is a business in the US, AAU is a business, and kids here, like, they play in clubs, and if they're good enough, they go at the higher level. You work your way up, and you get scouted, and then you go in a big club and become pro. But our market is like so small compared to you guys that like there are like so many kids in the US who need to play basketball and do a sport.
What I like about overseas is, and I guarantee you, if me and William's story was set in Europe, in the UK. So, not me, but they would say William at the age of 14 you can play on the national pro team here, the country's pro team at 14.
Yeah.
Like, so now Will been playing with grown men since he 14, 15, 16. Now the NBA didn't hear about William Cates, and now he's 17, 18. He finna get ready to go to the NBA and be like, put his stuff on display. That's crazy. But I would have loved that.
Like Rubio, Doncic, like Parker, all these guys, like they were really young when they were playing pro, and national team too. I think it's weird because we grew up playing outdoors with grown men, like we on the playground, we grew up playing guys who were like 40 years old, and like I think, the NBA, I mean, for the NBA to I guess now they're opening their doors to young guys, but it's two different cultures.
It definitely is two different cultures. But Kev, I know we had you for a while, man. We just got a few more questions for you, but we want to touch on your latest project, man. Black Top Memento.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
to us about that, man.
Yes, sir. So
the book that Mr. Agee got that I ain't got yet, but you ain't hear that from me.
No, that's fine. You don't worry. I have a good version to send you guys. Let me show you. Because the real package is this one. It's a fragment of concrete. So it's pure concrete.
Really?
But yeah. I love for people to get a fragment of concrete, with the book. But no, this project is basically a compilation of 76 playgrounds textures that I shot around the world.
Wow.
For the past like 20 years, all around the world. So I have the GPS coordinate in there, like I'm saying everywhere where it is. But it's an abstract perspective on playground basketball, to show like the passage of time of the humans without showing any humans. Like people playing and altering, like destroying this courts, erasing the paint, with the sneakers, and I think it's. When you look at these photos, if you're a ball player, like even though you don't know this court or this court, you just have these remembrances of playing on these specific surfaces, And I think that's why I did it, It's more something a little bit more sensorial for us ball players, It's like, okay, I've seen it, I've played on that, I know these colors, or I know these lines and these approximate paintings, and it's
none of these photos was touched up. Like the original artwork from when you snapped the camera, right? Like up close with the concrete and all that, and cracks and all that.
Yeah, exactly. But like I've been gathering so many archives for the past 20 years that I can do like 4 or 5 books if I want, with different teams. So that's the process I'm trying to do right now. Is to do more work for me and to spread the vision I have, and also contribute to the culture. I think it's important to create, pieces for basketball culture that are something else than NBA culture or or pro basketball culture. I think.
And then on the back, Will, look what he got on the back. These are actually pictures. Abstract joints, right, of the pictures inside the book?
Yeah, all the lines from the photos, yeah.
Man, first of all, I'm just impressed with the path that you have been on. Because I'm sitting there saying, like, I mean, it's almost like, man, it's like poetry in motion, man. Like you've been telling this life story of sports for so long, and now we get an opportunity to see it. Because again, I hate to say this, but sometimes in America, we can get so much caught up in our own Americanness that we don't think that, others are out there trying to live their hoop dream, whatever that may be. And
totally.
And the fact that, man, that you've captured this, man, we're seeing, basketball courts, dirt courts. Like I've seen some of your pictures, man, where rims are, made out of, wire tubes. And I mean, it's been insane, man. And you're saying all of this. So the book you have right now, your Blacktop Memento, it's just the courts only.
Yeah, it's just like these fragments and really abstract, because I think, I try to present basketball under a new light, and maybe for fine arts exhibitions and galleries, so this one is this. The next one will be about Hong Kong, because the crazy thing about Hong Kong is that Hong Kong has more basketball courts than New York City.
Really?
Yeah. I did a map.
Wow.
It's crazy. And the thing is that Hong Kong is a really dense city with tall buildings, lots of colors. But you have 1,500 basketball courts that are in public parks, but also on top of parking malls, on top of malls, on top of parking lots. They have creative ways of building basketball courts that are insane and all colorful and always in a great shape. It's quite insane, man. So trying to do a book that will be in between photography and urban planning, trying to understand why so many courts, why the creativity on the way they build them, and the relationship that people have with basketball courts, because they all live in small apartments and they all congregate to the basketball court, to play. And you see guys who are 80 plus years old guys playing basketball.
Wow.
Which is not something I see everywhere, So the next book is this. I have another book to do about the game around the world, which is the easiest one for me to do because I have so much content. But it's almost an endless mission, because I have so many places I haven't been to and that I want to go to before completing the work. It's just that I'm getting old. I have old knees. So honestly,
I got old knees.
Nah, but honestly, the most frustrating thing about being a ball player and a photographer is that you shoot all these places, you shoot all these games, and you don't even play. You're not even on the court because you're behind a camera.
Right, behind the camera.
You see, I always have this basketball, itchy feeling. You want to play. Even that's why I don't even go watch a lot of NBA games or pro games. Is that I want to play. It's I always, I don't know for you guys, but me, I always feel that I'm in shape, enough of in shape to play with pro guys, which I'm not, at all, but
right.
I could hold my own,
Right. You got that. Still got that.
Agee still does play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Agee still get out there and play. He's still playing.
Yeah.
Now my old knees, my knees, I done got 2 knee replace surgeries. I just kind of watch. But Kev, real quick, man, before we get you up out of here, what's Asphalt Chronicles?
So Asphalt Chronicles was my first project. Originally, it was a blog, sort of website that I started in 2007. The goal for me was to do a sort of a road guide of playground basketball around the world, where I would list all the best courts, where to eat, where to sleep, sort of Lonely Planet guide, for basketball players, and it basically shifted into this independent magazine that I try to publish when I have time, where I do 1 issue per city. So I did one about Dakar in Senegal, one about Manila in the Philippines, one about Paris. And I have enough content to do so many more. It's just I don't have the time. But now I'm trying to push the story with photo prints and even collab products that I'm doing with people from the basketball industry. I did a collaboration with friends in Japan with a basketball brand called Bobbito. It's fascinating. Japan has a small playground basketball community, but they are so active They have like their own like 5-on-5 tournament, 3-on-3. They do like brands, like apparel brands, basketball brands. So, like through my travels, I meet all these people who basically, love the game as much as we do and do amazing things that are maybe not heard of in the US, but they are like big in their own markets, like big in Japan or big in the Philippines. And it's quite amazing. Like the more you travel, the more you meet people like that. So it's quite surreal.
I would love to see that, because the fact that, think about that, Agee, you can pick up a book, magazine, whether you blog in it or whatever it may be, to tell you where you can go hoop, go eat, go hang out. I mean, come on, man. That's the perfect guy. And then he called it Asphalt Chronicles. I mean, that's dope there. Well, listen, Kevin, man, it has been a pleasure having you on the show, man. I was excited about this because I hadn't had an opportunity. We hadn't talked in a while. And plus, I want to give you a hard time that Agee got some books that I didn't get. So I want to make sure I get me some books. But my man
I come in person.
Yes. Bring it. I'll take that. But my dog got one last question for you.
All right.
Kev, what's the next chapter in Kevin's hoop dream?
The next chapter is all these books, honestly. But I'm currently pitching a sequel of Doin in a Park, more of a form of a documentary series. I can't really talk much about that, but yeah, that's the ultimate dream, because we are about to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of our film this year, and I'm not somebody who's going to direct a lot of films,
right?
Because I want to do the films I want to do, and basketball is what has been driving me for all these years, and that keeps driving me. So hopefully, somebody in the US understands where I come from and the expertise I've built with these 20 years of traveling and trying to provide a global picture of the game throughout the world. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And then I have another project, with Giants of Africa. The Masai Ujiri's nonprofit, which I've been involved in since 2016. We go every summer, on the continent to do basketball camps and find the next Embiid and the next Hakeem. So that's one of the most enriching thing I've done for the past 8 years. Going to Africa to see the game grow, because, of course, you have the NBA Africa League that is emerging right now, but the path to arrive to that league was decades of nonprofit and, grassroots organizations building up basketball to that point. And that's what is super interesting about Africa, is that, it starts from volunteer work, and now the NBA is taking over. Which is really interesting.
Also, Kev, tell everybody, our listeners, where they can go and get copies of your work, go see your work. Give us, tell us your Instagram and your website where they can go buy the book.
Yes, sir. So my Instagram is kev.couliau, pronounced Couliau. And they can check my work on my website, kevincouliau.com, but also go on asphalt-chronicles.com, where they can find the book, the magazine. So anybody, feel free to reach me out. And I'm looking forward to meet you guys again, but in Chicago this time.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Agee, you see that photo? That photo he got, not the photo, the sign he got. It says, "We the North."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's relics of Masai Ujiri. I got to represent the Raptors a little bit.
Oh, that's what's
up. But look at this court. This court is one of the most
back there.
Yeah, this one is one of the most beautiful courts, in New York City.
Where's that at?
And it's not New York City; it's on the Jersey side.
Okay.
That has the skyline view.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I love that, man. Wow.
I'm the gold of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago, where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffer, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.